What's up guys, Gaming here and welcome back to another Fortnite creative video. So in today's video I'm going to be going through 10 tips and tricks on how to save memory and become awesome at Fortnite creative, and how to create worlds fast and easy without messing up and placing props and stuff in the wrong places. Anyway, the first couple of tips are pretty simple and things you might not have thought of, and then we'll go through the memory tips at the end of the video. Anyway, the first one is use pictures to create your scenery. So if you want to create an apocalyptic map, load up something on your phone with an apocalyptic scenery, such as like a zombie wasteland or anything like that, and that will give you inspiration to build things in your map and will help a lot. I see a lot of people get bored easily, or they struggle to find out ideas because they're just building a map from memory, and if you use images it makes it a lot easier. And you can also take designs and features from those worlds and create them in your own world. You've seen a recent example of my world where I did apocalyptic vehicles. I took those ideas from pictures of films and stuff like that. So yeah, that is the first tip. Moving on to the second tip. This is to do with prefabs and how to delete them. Now I've seen people talk about placing them in the sky, but the problem with that is you always end up with floating props or something glitched out in the sky, and then you have to delete it anyway. The other idea is to place it on the floor and use boom boxes to delete everything. So I will be showing you guys that in a second. Another little tip I will have that goes with this is to build your map up in the sky. So go up about 10 blocks, 10 wooden stacks, and then build your map in the sky. Just in case you want to do something underneath, like maybe you want to do a waterfall and a river going through your map. If you do it at the bottom, you can't actually dig the floor, so you got to like do it in the sky. It makes it a lot easier for you in the end, and you can also do your own floors and stuff like that, and you can do things coming out of the floor, stuff like that. Anyway, back to the prefabs. So I'm going to spawn some boomboxes and show you how the boombox one works first. I believe it's on consumables. There it is. So grab a bunch of them in your inventory and then place one around like a decent space apart from each other. I usually place a couple on the edges and then a couple in the middle. So while that is destroying that, I'll show you this one. So basically with this one, you go up, place your prefab, delete the bottom just like that. Obviously there's one floating thing there because the boom boxes can't get it, but if you place it on top of the building, it'll get the top first. So as you can see, I've seen people tell you that this is the best tip, and it's not. Look at all those props that you see floating, and then you have to go around and destroy every single one of those, and it's a massive pain in the backside. Nobody wants to do that. So boombox is definitely the way to go. You can also use C4, RPG, stuff like that, but you can stack boomboxes to 6, so that helps a lot. That can destroy one prefab entirely. So as you can see, that is the best way to remove your prefabs, best way to build your map. Anyway, moving on to the next tip. This is 2 tips in one, but there's an advanced version and a normal version. Basically, use multi-select to move things around your map. It makes life a lot easier. So as you can see, when you've got these prefabs out, you've got all this stuff hanging on the edge which look absolutely awesome, and you really want to take those with you. So make sure you're using multi-select to your advantage as much as possible. So as you can see, you can select that, you can select that on the side, you can select that addition, you can select that light, this, you can even select that if you get it at the right angle, the wire on the top. You can select everything that you want in that area, and you can go and copy it, place it down anywhere you want, just like that, and then you'll have the exact prefab with everything on it, and that saves a lot of time in the end. Anyway, moving on to the advanced tip of multi-select. So this actually saves my life so many times. So when you want to build something across your map, maybe you want to build like 10 of the exact same storage units, or 10 of the exact same pipe works and turbines around your map, and you want to place them in the exact same spot as like another prefab. Basically how to do that, as you can see here, if I select these, I will show you that actually now. If I select all these and try to place them, it's going to be really difficult to place it in the place that you want it. So how to get around that is actually place down any floor, any snappable floor. As long as it snaps, you can do this. So what you want to do there is select that, then select all the pipework or whatever you want to copy. So I'm going to copy all this. Just grab that real quick, and then the turbine, and then I can place this now in the exact spot that I want to place it in over here. Obviously I've placed down the prefabs a little bit different, so it might be a little bit odd, but as you can see, in the exact same spot as this one, I have placed everything back where it should be. So that is a really useful tip for you guys that not many people actually know. So I really do hope that was useful to you. Anyway, 2 other tips that I'm going to be telling you. These are pretty simple, but not many people actually do this, and it's so much more useful. Saves you so much time if anything goes wrong on your map. So basically every hour in your game, so you got 4 hours in your game, every hour make sure to back up your island. So go onto my island, go across to island tools and back up. Always do that, because then you're only going to lose an hour's worth of progress instead of 4 hours or whatever, in case something happens to your map. There's also another thing you can do, which is leave your island, and you can actually copy the island twice now. So that is a really cool tip. And just in case you're inviting friends or friends of friends to your map and you want to test them, make sure to back up the island, copy it, and then spend 4 hours or whatever with them, see what they're like, and then if they don't agree with the map, you can obviously keep it, but if they do, you've got a backup for it, so no worries. So yeah, that is those tips 2 in 1 there for you guys. Anyway, I'm going to be showing you guys how to clear your map and how much memory it saves. So we're just going to reset it real quick, and then I'll jump back to you guys in a second. So here we are back on the island, and as you can see at the top, you're using nearly 4,000 memory, and that's before you've even placed any props. So here's a little tip in order to save on that memory. You can seriously use that memory at the end of your game, and it comes up and helps you a lot within building your map. So what you want to do, guys, is destroy every single thing you see around the map. Those rocks, those trees, cactuses, grass, anything you see on the map, make sure to destroy it, and that will save you a ton of memory. So I'm just going to go around and destroy it real quick, and then I'll get back to you and show you what memory is left at the end. So as you can see, guys, from deleting everything around the map, I've just brought down the memory to 2. That is nothing. That means you've got 100k memory to build whatever you want on this map. So if you want to build something really big, you've got a ton more memory now. You've just saved on 4,000 memory. You can do this on every one of the maps. There's always trees or buildings that there's already pre-placed. So you go around, spend 5 minutes just deleting everything. As you could see, it didn't take me very long, and it saves you so much time at the end. Moving on, guys, to the memory tips. I'm going to be showing you guys now how to save a ton of memory with props in your game. So when you're placing down your props, they usually cost quite a lot on the first one. So you always want to select the first one, place it out of the prefab, and then delete the entire prefab that you've just placed down, and then only use that one prop that you've copied. Do not pick up the helicopter and place it back down, because it will use so much more memory that you don't want to use. Always use the second props, because the first props, when you place them down, use more memory than the second props. Makes sense to an extent, but if there's any confusion there, always take out the prop, copy it, place it down, delete the prefab, then you'll save a lot more memory in long term on your map. So that is how to save memory with props. Always use the second prop rather than the first one. Anyway, moving on. Do not use the props once only in your map. So if you're using vehicles, as you can see, all these vehicles here cost 9,000 memory. So if you're only using one of each prop in your map, it's going to cost you 9,000. So what you want to do is try to minimize it as much as possible. Try to use less vehicles. Try to use more of this one vehicle rather than using separate vehicles, because as you've seen before, one of each vehicle costs a lot more than duplicating the just one vehicle. So the best thing to do is do that with props as well. So like wooden crates, boxes. Always try to copy and paste the same box rather than using different colored boxes and stuff, because using different colored boxes costs a lot more than just using the one box. That would save a lot of memory on like your block worlds and your bigger worlds, and it also makes it look cool. So only use ones that look right together rather than scattering loads in the same areas. Anyway, another little tip for you guys: try to, when you're building, you always want to place down the prefab that you want. The way I do this is to place down the prefab, all your prefabs at the start, so that you know how much memory you're working with. Always place them at the bottom, obviously, and build up. Place down the prefab that you want. Grab everything that you want out of it, everything that you know that you want. So, say I want these boxes, these doors, whatever. That's all I want in this prefab, so I'm going to delete everything out of this prefab, and then what's going to happen is you're going to be left with just what you need rather than what you don't need. And then at the later stage, when your memory's at 90,000 and you can't place any prefabs, and you're going to have to delete your world because you need something out of a prefab, and you just want one simple thing out of it and you can't get it, so you have to leave it. This is the best way to do it. Grab what you need out of the prefab, delete everything, and then at the later stage you won't need to place down any prefabs because you've already grabbed everything that you need. This saves my life so much. I've had so many instances where I've built a map and then it's on like 90,000 memory and I just can't place a prefab that tips the map off so well and finishes it off pretty good. So yep, that's a little tip on how to do that. So many people leave it to the end and they're struggling, so they have to delete the map in order to place down the prefab that they want. So yeah, that is that little tip. So the final tip I'm going to be telling you today, guys, is avoid using expensive props such as lights, large vehicles, and the flags, which I was talking about before. I believe particles use a bit of, I think that's actually free, never mind. So big props such as the trees, we'll go through these and tell you which ones that cost a lot. I believe Kevin uses quite a bit because it's an animation. Anything that uses an animation or glow, light, is just absolutely huge and take up a lot of shadow in your game. They use a lot of memory, so try not to use them. If you have to use them, then use them, but obviously if you can work around them, like the trees, you can use the smaller ones, copy and paste them loads of times, and it kind of makes a bigger tree, so it saves on a ton of memory that way. And then other things, you can just use like smaller vehicles and stuff like that. Anyway guys, that is everything in today's video. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope it helped you. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you got your own little tips, make sure to comment them. Make sure to like if this helped you. Subscribe for more. Click that bell so you get notified when I upload, because I try to upload pretty much every single day. I got a ton of builds coming. I've got a version 1 and version 2 of my mech arena that I recently showed you guys coming very soon. I cannot wait. I've just been working on something better and so much more advanced that I just can't wait to release it now. Anyway guys, like, subscribe, and